March 13th, 2014. A desk. A 29-year-old tech CEO stares down at an ultimatum from one of the most powerful government agencies on Earth. The request: hand over the personal data of anti-government protesters. He knew the cost of compliance; those people would vanish. He knew the cost of defiance; he would lose everything he had built. In a move that's been called the biggest middle finger to state surveillance in history, he picked up his phone. He posted the secret demand online, and he watched it immediately go viral. Within minutes, his building was surrounded. He was fired from his own $300 million company and escorted out by armed security. He had to flee Russia with just one backpack. This man, Pavel Durov, became a target for the FSB, the CIA, and Interpol. He was detained in France and banned from 17 nations. Yet he didn't stop. He didn't just survive this. He would build an app so resilient, so untouchable, that when Russia spent an estimated $18 million trying to block it, they accidentally broke their own internet instead. Today, nearly 1 billion people use his creation. Telegram, to speak freely. Every government on Earth wants him stopped. None can seem to touch him. This isn't just a founder's story. This is a real-life cybercrime documentary about how one man engineered a way to defeat the surveillance state, and what his victory means for your own digital privacy. Welcome back to The Digital Sleuth. To fully understand the Shield, you have to understand the Foundry. Our story begins not with defiance, but with sheer ambition. It starts on October 10th, 2006. While Mark Zuckerberg was busy conquering American college campuses, a skinny philosophy student named Pavel Durov, working from a borrowed laptop, saw an untapped digital frontier: Russia. He launched VKontakte, or simply VK. His secret sauce wasn't a cool new feature. It was a pure philosophy of design. He personally rejected any feature that took more than 2 clicks, prioritizing a clean, minimalist experience. For 2 entire years, he refused to run any ads at all, believing that pure, explosive growth, not quick profit, was the key to securing his market. He even offered free music streaming when iTunes was charging 99 cents a song. This enraged copyright holders, but it turned VK into a true cultural phenomenon. By 2008, VK had 20 million users. By 2011, a staggering 100 million Russians were living on the platform. Durov, now worth hundreds of millions, became known as Russia's Zuckerberg. He would quickly correct the journalists, saying, "Zuckerberg is America's Durov." But while Durov was building this massive social network, another, darker side of the internet was also expanding rapidly. This was the era where basic user data became a valuable commodity on the dark web. Cybercriminals weren't just stealing simple passwords anymore. They were orchestrating complex financial fraud mechanics. One major attack vector that emerged was highly sophisticated phishing. These weren't the clumsy emails of the past. They were highly targeted. Criminals would scrape data from social networks, things like birth dates, pet names, even employment history, to create devastating spear phishing attacks or business email compromise, or BEC. Scams. In a BEC attack, a finance worker is tricked by a fake email from the CEO, often impersonated using stolen credentials to wire millions to a fraudulent account. It's a pure social engineering attack, and it costs businesses billions annually. The digital footprints: VK was collecting your political leanings, your private chats. Your location was the perfect intelligence, not just for criminals, but for states. The true turning point came in December 2011 with the massive Moscow protests over rigged elections. The thousands of protesters organized everything through VK groups. The Kremlin completely panicked. An FSB colonel bypassed all protocol and called Durov's personal cell phone. The message was stark: close the protest groups. Durov, the philosophy major, simply hung up. When the colonel called back, Durov blocked the number. When 3 FSB agents showed up at his office days later, he secretly recorded the entire conversation He posted the audio online, writing, "VC contact will never become a tool of political censorship, but this act of defiance came with a price. One that wasn't paid in rubles, but in shares." The Kremlin didn't need a warrant, they needed a proxy. While Durov was busy posting dog memes and throwing paper airplanes made of cash out of his office window, a strange act of social commentary, state media called reckless, the corporate trap snapped shut around him. Russia's internet giant, Mail, RU Group, controlled by the billionaire and Putin ally Alisher Usmanov, began meticulously buying up VK. This was no market acquisition, it was a pure corporate assassination. They used a complex web of shell companies and funds in a slow-motion, 6-month coup that cost an estimated $1.47 billion. By 2013, Durov woke up to the realization that he had lost majority control of his own company. The final, breaking demand came in December 2013. Hand over the data of Ukrainian Euromaidan protesters. Durov's now famous response was simple: Russian law doesn't apply to Ukrainian citizens. He screenshotted the FSB letter and posted it, with a picture of a dog in a hoodie. The now iconic Durov's dog meme. On April 1, 2014. He arrived at his office to find his keycard deactivated. He was escorted out by security guards he had known for years. He was offered a $300 million buyout to sign a resignation letter he never actually wrote. Durov signed, took the check, and walked out of VK forever. But the new management didn't know the biggest secret of all. Durov hadn't lost, he had executed the most expensive, elaborate escape plan in tech history. 12 core developers had quietly resigned the day before. The laptops, the talent, and the secret code were already gone. Since 2009, the very day the FSB first came asking for VK user data, Durov and his math genius brother, Nikolai, had been secretly building the ultimate digital sanctuary, Telegram. The entire app was built on one single core principle, which was that governments are the enemy. Telegram was designed with military-grade cybersecurity protocols in mind. The foundation was absolute privacy. First, there was end-to-end encryption, or E2EE, when properly implemented. As with Telegram's secret chats, only the sender and recipient have the private keys to read the message, not the servers, not the service provider, not the FSB. This is the simple technical mechanism that made Durov's no meaningful. Second, they focused on decentralized sovereignty. There is no single headquarters, which means no single door for police to knock on. The servers are scattered across 9 different legal jurisdictions, with each one storing only fragments of the encrypted data. If one country issues a warrant, they only get a handful of digital dust. Third, they incorporated proxy server support. This was Telegram's defensive weapon, a core feature that allowed users to mask their true connection, making mass state censorship significantly harder. In 2018, the Russian hammer finally fell. Moscow's Tagansky court ruled that Telegram must hand over its encryption keys to the FSB immediately. Durov, watching the stream from Dubai, simply posted, "Privacy is not for sale." Russia retaliated with full force, ordering a mass block of Telegram's IP addresses. They published a list of 8 million IPs to be blocked across the country. But here's where Durov's design achieved something truly beautiful. What I call digital jujitsu. The block list included IP addresses belonging to massive cloud services like Amazon Web Services and Google. When the state censor, Roskomnadzor, tried to execute the ban, they accidentally knocked Amazon and Google services offline across Russia. Online banking failed. Microsoft Azure stopped working. They had effectively broken their own internet trying to stop one single app. This catastrophic failure perfectly illustrates the power of domain fronting. Telegram's technical contingency. It disguises traffic as connections to harmless, essential cloud services. When the state blocked the malicious traffic, they inadvertently took down the essential infrastructure that everyone else relied on. The app they banned became an immediate symbol of digital resistance, forcing the state to admit total defeat and officially lift the ban in 2020. Beating Russia was just practice. From 2018 onward, Durov became tech's most wanted man. Existing in a permanent state of high-end homelessness, he moved constantly, never staying in one country for longer than 6 months. Iran, Brazil, Indonesia, Thailand, they all took their shot at banning the service. Durov's response was always consistent proxy funding for users in censored countries and an unwavering refusal to install backdoors. Every ban became completely free marketing. Telegram grew to 500 million, 700 million, and now rapidly approaches 1 billion users. But Telegram's success, built on this foundation of absolute privacy, also highlights a difficult, unavoidable truth about the digital world: privacy can unfortunately be weaponized. While Durov defends the right to free speech for protesters, that same encryption shields those who operate in the deepest shadows. From drug traffickers to sophisticated scammers running large-scale dark web scams, consider the evolution of modern phishing attacks today. AI tools are now capable of crafting personalized, virtually flawless messages that perfectly mimic executive tone and bypass traditional security filters. The 2024 Pepco Group attack, for instance, saw bad actors use such sophisticated phishing emails to facilitate over €15, 5 million in fraudulent wire transfers. These attackers exploit human trust, the very thing Durov's app can protect, but which no amount of tech can truly eliminate. This dual-use nature of encryption is precisely why Durov was finally cornered. In August 2024, French prosecutors, believing his French passport granted immunity, arrested him in Paris. The charge wasn't for committing cybercrime, but for enabling it, for refusing to moderate content, for refusing to weaken the encryption that protects 1 billion users worldwide. The irony was simply breathtaking. The government that had exiled him, Russia, demanded his immediate release, calling his detention an assault on free speech. After 96 hours in a high-security detention center, Durov was finally released on a €5 million bail. He was trapped in France, but his spirit was completely unbroken. His first post on Telegram was simple and resolute: privacy is not negotiable. That single post led to Telegram gaining 12 million new users that very same day. Pavel Durov may have successfully beaten every government he faced, but the fight for your digital privacy is ongoing and permanent. The ultimate lesson of this cybercrime documentary is that you must become your own security guard. Here is the Digital Sleuth's takeaway practical advice on how to build your own untouchable app defense right now. First, you must immediately embrace multi-factor authentication, or MFA. Do not rely on SMS-based codes. They can easily be intercepted by modern criminals. Use an authenticator app, like Google or Microsoft Authenticator, or, even better, a physical security key. This single step prevents over 99% of account takeovers today. Second, you need to practice rigorous URL hygiene. Before you click on any link in an unexpected email or text, especially one with a generic greeting or a sense of urgency, hover your cursor over it. Check the URL for tiny, subtle misspellings, like Amazon.com. If you are in doubt, do not click. Type the correct address directly into your browser's search bar. Third, stop sharing financial instructions via email. Phishing criminals prey on payment requests. Establish a strict protocol. Verify all requests for wire transfers or changes to bank details using a separate, non-email channel, like a verified phone number. Finally, use end-to-end encryption, or E2EE, for everything possible. Choose messaging apps, like Signal or Telegram's dedicated secret chats, that offer E2EE by default. This ensures that even if the provider's servers are compromised, your data remains completely unreadable. Durov built an empire on a simple, yet profound, belief: privacy is a human right. He proved that technical design, combined with ideological defiance, can hold off the most powerful forces in the world. At 40, he's worth $11 billion, owns no property, claims no nation, and trusts no government. He lives like a permanent fugitive, not from justice, but from injustice. That's the kind of resolve you don't often see in the tech world. But if you want to see how another man built a bizarre lifestyle out of pure digital chaos, make sure to watch our story on John McAfee. Until next time, always stay one step ahead of the wire. I'm the Digital Sleuth, and I'll see you in the next investigation.